Many of you have been living through a purification process of self-inquiry, of shadow work for many, many years without realizing that during all of this, all of that hard work and consistency comes a lot of suffering. There comes a lot of hard truths. There comes a lot of destruction. There comes a lot of dismantling, the shedding, right? So you weren't realizing that with all of those years, you going through that, you were literally cracking open in preparation for this birth into this new timeline. You were literally being alchemized. And it's time to now carry that energy and that confidence that the magician has. This is major magician energy to be able to materialize from what was once just a synchronicity in the unseen realms. We're now materializing. And so like a pregnant woman, she knows a child is coming. Regardless of the discomfort, regardless of the pain, regardless of having no control, she is highly aware that the baby is coming. So what does she do? She remains focused and she trusts and she knows that no matter what happens, it's coming. And that's the kind of knowing you need to carry. We are all mothers birthing something. Whatever it is for you, it's happening, regardless if you're aware of it or not. But there is a difference when you're having a higher timeline shift. You become conscious of that and you trust in it to the degree where you no longer try to have control of everything. And instead, you tap into the observer. You tap into the one that's witnessing all of the magic around you, all of the limitations that you may be witnessing. Like, oh yeah, I'm definitely limiting myself here, but you're aware of it. All of the pain, all of the fear. How are you observing it rather than letting it swallow you? So yeah, this has a lot to do with trusting in the tools that you have after all of those years of shadow work. We've been talking about shadow work on Ethereal Aeons for so long now, a very long time. I think my first course on shadow work, it was called Deprogram Your Shadow, came out in 2021. And we focused heavily on removing all of the wounded child, all of the programming, all of the societal conditioning, all of the matrix codes. We focused on that a lot. And since then, there's been a big buildup. There's been a lot more into the equation, a lot more tools into the equation. So now, even if your frequency has slipped, even if your emotions surface and swallow you at times still, even if you're exhausted, you keep going because somewhere within you, there's a knowing that the delivery is inevitable, that the timeline shift to a higher reality for you, to a higher state of being for you is inevitable. So think of it, I just collected eggs from the chickens. They're not my chickens, but my neighbors have chickens and I'm taking care of them right now. And so I went out to the back and I was collecting their eggs. I broke one by accident. But I have just the whole notion of eggs right now. And yeah, the whole notion of eggs symbolically throughout mysticism, throughout spirituality, throughout religion has been a huge, huge symbol of a birthing of something new, of a new world cracking open, of a new consciousness being revealed. And so the egg is now cracking and there's proof. Synchronicities materializing into the third dimensional realm equals timeline shift. Now the synchronicities are no longer just signs leading you on your path. They are becoming the path itself, and you're no longer having to look and see which way do I go. You're just flowing. So to wrap this up, it's a continuation on what we've been talking about since 2026 Double Fire Energy Portal, the Fire Horse. There has been so much momentum bringing in change and destruction and realization and truths and hard truths and having to be detached from things that once were your foundation point, right? So there has been divine intervention with that double fire momentum that came in. And so now after all the destruction, there's this rebuilding. And if you check out my Substack, Substack channel, you can check out a video I did yesterday. I did a Kali Oracle reading. So Kali, the Mahamaya, was what I read upon yesterday. And we talked about how we want stability now, and we have it now. There's a sense of stability, real long-lasting stability, a foundation that will be indestructible because the old one has been destroyed. And the truth lives in the cremation ground. The truth lives within Shiva consciousness. So after all of that destruction, after all of those hard truths that we've encountered since, oh my goodness, for a long time, let's be real here, but the accelerated rate of the changes we have encountered since 2026 has been insane, but in the best way possible. Because now we're able to rebuild again, and I want you to start to notice all of the small, miraculous, synchronistic events. I will also have a link in the description where I talked about that about a month and a half ago. It could have been early April, where I talked about the micro-synchronistic miracles, I called them. They were just building and building and building and building, and we're continuing to build until they're literally materializing in our realm. We are that magician energy. We literally have all of the tools that we need. It's really about stepping into that confidence and really not afraid to get messy and to have to deal with really hard stuff, right? So the alchemist deals with really dense material, trying to alchemize it into gold. I mean, taking lead into gold. The magician will create magic out of anything. And so that's the type of energy we want to bring forth. Now that we're coming into like summer, and we're going to be in the middle of 2026, according to the Gregorian calendar, very soon. So start to reflect on all of the changes you've encountered in your life since 2026. I've had so many, and so many others around me have as well. And people continue to come to me, and I can't believe what I'm hearing either. It's not just around me, it's everywhere. And it's playing out in the Leela. The grand play is definitely taking a hit on this too. So let's continue to just hone in that energy and recognize that, hey, I have entered a new timeline. And guess what? It's only gonna get better from here. Continue all of that positivity. I didn't really get a chance to talk to you today about how you start to create and materialize the synchronicities on a conscious level. So with the deconstruction process I mentioned, that's going to happen. You have no control over that. Let's say you don't have control over that, but you do have the ability to shift your consciousness into certain areas. You do have the ability to make your mind your friend and not to have it as your enemy or to be a slave to it. And so we can talk about that more coming up soon. So let me know if you're feeling this and if you're understanding what I'm talking about, if this is happening to you as well. I feel like a lot of you are going to be able to understand where I'm coming from in this video. That's why I'm sharing it with you guys here. And again, if you want to get more into the yogic sciences, check me out on Substack. I post there almost every day. I just uploaded my weekly Kali Oracle reading yesterday. And so lots more on there. And I hope to see you soon. Check out the links in my description, and we'll talk later. Bye.